All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome to another episode in class. We are joined again by Alan Babiarz-Lira, and he is here for the third time to talk about Christmas at Disney. If you remember back in October, he talked about Halloween at Disney, and we talked about Disney movies and Halloween in the parks and how to celebrate Halloween using Disney outside of the parks or out away from um, any of the movies and things like that, things people can do with their Halloween decorations. And so Alan, unbeknownst to him, kind of made himself into the Disney holiday guy. So now every time there's a Disney holiday, Alan has to come back and talk about that Disney holiday. And so
Look,
I,
I
I,
will,
I
I
hope you're okay
will,
with that.
I will pencil in Arbor Day just for you.
Yeah, we could think of all of the holidays that we could celebrate with Disney, which, really what the three major holidays that Disney celebrates in the parks, Halloween, Christmas, and then every day on Main Street USA is supposed to resemble Independence Day or July 4th. So those are
True.
really the three like major holidays that they really acknowledge and celebrate a lot in the parks. And I think a lot of people don't know about July 4th being or Main Street USA supposed to be like this 24 or 365 day celebration of July 4th or Independence Day. Um,
That is
so
one of those little known narrations that, I eventually want to tell as I get to that stage of, my PhD. As you know, and as your listeners now know, I'm currently working on it, and I love researching theme park narration and theme park storytelling and some parasocial attachment with it. So I love you brought the right person on to talk about holidays, I would say. I brought Figment with me today.
nice.
Yeah. He's ready for Christmas, as am I. So I appreciate you welcoming me back. However, you got very lucky because it is almost winter break, and being a fan of Disney, doesn't it go on winter break or do your students get a break or anything? No?
So we actually our students are done. Yeah, they are finished now. They're doing final exams now. Um, as far as this, it just depends what news comes out between now and when the semester starts, one of the really cool things about we do these, but then we do the take one episodes as well, that are kind of like the shorter ones that those things that as Alan knows, and as anybody who has spoken to a group knows, whenever you speak to a group, then you walk away and you always remember all the other things you were actually going to say. And so
Yep,
that's what those take one episodes are things that kind of happen in between the interviews or between classes. And so we'll see what happens with those. There's never any shortage of things that Disney's doing, especially right now. With
absolutely. Hey, I have a suggestion for you.
Yeah,
You should have Inner Dialogue host one of those take ones.
he has been hounding me to try to do that for a very, very long time. And
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
did
He and I are good friends.
I did promise him that he could do his own episode when it was episode 1000. So he realized that we're nowhere close to that. He's kind of upset about it.
Oh,
He's causing as much mayhem as he can.
mm, mm.
So well, I no promises. Um, but I'm sure if he did, I would be afraid if he hosted an episode, what that would be
See,
like. Uh,
start with the take ones, the shorter ones, and then. What do you
Yeah,
think?
it's like what's that when you give a mouse a cookie,
Ah,
or the
yes.
old saying when an elephant you let an elephant what elephant puts his trunk in the tent?
Something
Like,
like that, yeah.
yeah. I
No,
don't know.
no, no.
I don't want to like
Let him
I don't want to give
loose.
him too much, yeah, too much
Too
reign
much.
over any of this.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he appreciates you saying that. Um, I will say I would share that information with him. Honestly, I probably won't, so it doesn't make him more emboldened in his decisions, but I'm sure he appreciates it. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
The
Anytime.
so by way of kind of catching people up, if someone hasn't listened to one of the two episodes that Alan has been on previously, Alan, welcome back for the third
Thank
time.
you.
You're two
Thank
away
you.
from joining the Five Timers Club.
Do I get a
And
robe like on SNL?
you get you can't really call it an NFT. You get a virtual jacket
Ah,
and
there we
a
go.
virtual hat.
Ooh, I'm
Um,
excited.
that you could put on as your background whenever you're in Zoom meetings, or
Hmm.
um, put on your social media tags.
I
Um,
will, and I'll put it on my CV.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. That could be at the top. Five Timers Club.
yeah.
So let everybody know where your Disney fandom came from. Take us up through today, where Alan just finished his first semester teaching. He also finished his last semester of doctoral coursework. So take us up through today.
Yeah. So I um, have been in love with the movies and company just as everybody gets, probably much since I was a child. Just pretty much the same story everybody did, watching the movies, watching the TV shows growing up as a kid. My mom grew up watching, like The Wonderful World of Disney with her family on Sunday nights, and they would all get together and watch the movies and the specials that Walt would produce. So that was a lot of that fandom came from my mom growing up. And then once I grew up and I became a legal adult, I'll call it legal adult just by age. That's it, just by age, that's it. And I started making adult money. I was like, I want to go to the parks as much as I can now. So I've been loving the parks since, for probably almost 20 years now. I've been going to the parks, and that turned into kind of my professional and academic life as well. I've been teaching, and as you mentioned, I'm finishing my first semester down here at Ball State Community College and right outside Nashville. So I am somewhat of your neighbor, and I teach communication studies and I run their student newspaper. And I have lovingly received the nickname Professor Disney from my students because I do show up similarly to you. I know you do bounding in your class, but um, I show up in some kind of Disney apparel every day. Um, so my whole closet is just full of Spirit jerseys and button downs and polos and everything Disney you can imagine for the classroom. And then, a few years ago, I started my PhD, like you mentioned, in communication studies. And most of my research, well, I shouldn't say most, all of my research has been Disney focused because that's what's getting me through this program. I love researching Disney, and like I mentioned earlier, theme park narration and storytelling has become a passionate spot for me. In the next few weeks, my first publication is going live, which I'm very, very excited about the very first employee newsletter of Walt Disney World and Magic Kingdom, that's getting published. And I interviewed the editor of that who worked for Disney at the time, right as it was opening, and he gave me his point of view and experience and thought process with everything. And it was just kind of a really cool piece to put together. And then, like you said, I just finished my coursework. So now I'm going into my qualifying exams in the spring. And granted, I pass, I will be Dr. Allen ABD and then go into the dissertation stage, which will probably, like I said, deal with theme park narration. I don't know where I want to take it yet, with either like parasocial attachment or place attachment or somewhere that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is my long roundabout personal and academic story of Disney.
Very cool. Whenever and during excuse me, during that process, we'll come back to talk about the attachment people have to the parks as well. Excuse me, for anybody who has listened, or I guess hasn't listened to Alan's first visit, his first visit in the class and on the podcast, we actually did talk about using the parks as for educational purposes,
Mm-hmm.
and using the storytelling for educational purposes, which, I had to say, I was there a week and a half ago now, about 2 weeks ago now. And when I went to Epcot, I did the walk-through attraction Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. Have you done that?
It's beautiful.
It is
The
so, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was gonna say the way they built Mountanui, and she is beautiful. Or not Mountanui. I can't think of the island name. Where they're Tafiti. Sorry,
Mhm.
the mountain of Tafiti. She is beautiful. That's my favorite part of that. But the detailing, yes, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it was such a cool thing. And I was walking through actually doing a video for class about it. And so I didn't pay close attention to everything, but I did some of the interactive things. Um,
Did
it
you
was
get to
such a
play with the
cool.
water?
I did the one where you wave and then it shoots across.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and then the one where you put your hand out and it'll
And it jumps.
come up. Yeah. I didn't go over to the ocean. I think that's the only one I didn't go over to. And I did walk through like the water curtain.
Where it
Um,
stops. Yeah,
yeah. But it was so cool, and it reminded me of, when people talk about what Epcot started out as and what it is now, and if people, there's always kind of a complaint about too much, this or that in Epcot, and Epcot losing its original vision. That is the original vision of Epcot, in my opinion.
yeah.
That,
That's that edutainment aspect that we talked about
yeah,
in there. Yeah, 1,000%.
yeah, being
But
able to, oh, go ahead.
no, no, no. I was just going to say it talks about recycling the water. It talks about how to preserve nature in that, and all these children are learning these enriching environmental pieces that they don't realize that they're learning because they think they're just having fun with water.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really cool. That's the way that they intended, um the way that they built that attraction. They did a very, very good job. And I think it's well placed also that it's over in, I guess, is it World Discovery now? I think it's, or World Nature. I think that's World
Yeah, world
Nature.
nature. Yeah,
So then you can walk out of there and you can go into the seas, you can go into the land pavilion, which is one of my favorite. The land pavilion is so cool that it's all the stuff inside there. But so the reason, as I said, why Alan is here, he is now the Disney holiday guy. He has anointed himself that when he reached out the first time, unbeknownst to him. Um, so we are going to talk about Disney Christmas, celebrating Christmas, using Disney. And it's something that a lot of people do. And when people think about Christmas, they think about, a lot of times they'll think about the programs that Disney puts on, the program they put on, the Christmas Day parade that they
Hmm.
put on. And there's so much that goes on behind all of that, and so many programs that Disney distributes that it really helps make the season for a lot of people. And one thing that was really interesting this year on Disney Plus, for the first time, they started the 24-hour streaming channels or live streaming channels. I don't know if you've seen those yet.
I have
Um,
not yet, but I heard about them.
so they are basically, it's, channel flipping. Like you go in and you can pick up where what any movie or where any movie is or where any show is right now. And it's interesting. You can pick up and watch live as they have it, or you can actually go and hit details. You could touch details, and then it goes into the full show. So you can watch from the beginning if you want. So actually,
Hmm.
right now I'm looking at it. The streaming season streaming channel, so it's all Christmas and holiday, started 2 minutes ago. Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good one.
so and then in the others, because they have a seasonal channel, which they did for Halloween, they do for Christmas now. Then they have Disney Playtime, which is kind of like Disney Junior, ABC News, Real Life, which is the documentaries. They have throwbacks, which are a lot of the, like, that's where you'll see a lot of the classic movies and shows and Disney Channel shows. And then they have hits and heroes, which is where you have your Marvel, Star Wars, kind of those tent pole type, big budget type shows. And so, um, one thing to start with is Disney movies or Disney projects. And so this could be anything you watch at your house, in the theater, um, on television, streaming, anything that Disney puts out. So, what are some of your favorite Disney movies and or projects to watch at Christmas time?
So I have a few that I've already started that are classics and that they just kind of you have to. First of all, what you mentioned a few minutes ago, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, and I would say Twice Upon a Christmas because Twice Upon a Christmas is fun too. Um, it gets you in the classic Christmas kind of spirit. Those came out when I was a kid, and sorry, I started watching those when I was a kid, and it's just fun, kind of remembering and bringing you back to kind of elementary school and remembering watching those as you were getting ready to go to Christmas vacation and say goodbye to your friends for a while. Um, One that's become kind of everybody's family favorite, Home Alone, one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite John Hughes movies. Originally from Chicago, so I have that Chicago tie there. I love watching the scenes that when they run through O'Hare Airport, and
Mm-hmm.
um, just it feels like Christmas. It feels like home. I don't know if you've seen this year. Well, last year they started with Catherine O'Hara and Kevin Hart doing the Kevin commercials for Capital
Mm-hmm.
One.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this year they've added in Macaulay Culkin, which has
Mm-hmm.
been kind of fun and interesting. Um, so that would be kind of cool. Um, and then you have I watched one last week that I have not watched in a while, and that one's a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Story is so good, the story of Scrooge and the three ghosts that come to visit him, and you have Michael Caine, who's this wonderful actor, notable actor that we know about, and just has fun with this all um, Muppet cast. Like that would be my dream. I'd love to make a movie like that, just me and the Muppets. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that sound fun? so I like to start there. I also do love the cheesy. I don't. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call them cheesy, but I love all the holiday like TV specials. So like
Yeah.
um, the great light fights and the baking
Yeah.
specials and the cooking and the like we'll call them holiday reality shows if you will, if you want to call it that or whatever. So I love those kinds of things. Um, One of my favorite specials that links Disney Plus and home and that to the parks is there is a special from a few years ago that Whoopi Goldberg hosted where they show the transformation from Halloween to Christmas in the parks, including one of my favorites, the gingerbread houses, how they build the gingerbread house in the contemporary, which is incredible. Have you ever seen that thing?
I've seen it. I haven't seen it being built or seen kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, watch this special if you haven't seen it yet. Like I said, it's a few years old, but it's still a good one. Um, there was one night I was in the parks and then we checked into Animal Kingdom Lodge. When we checked in, it was fall. And when I woke up the next morning, it was Christmas. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy moly, it's Christmas magic, Disney magic, the way that happened. It was crazy. And so there's so much on Disney Plus and social content and everything. Even TikTok, you can go on TikTok nowadays and open it and see creators live streams from the park looking at all
Yeah.
the Christmas directions. How do you like that? Christmas decorations and all the holiday stuff that's going on. We talked about a huge one the other day that's going viral on social media with Tally the Christmas
Yeah.
elf from the parade. And there's people who are live streaming the parades now from Mickey's Not So Scary. Not sorry, not Mickey's Not So Scary. How do you like that? Yeah, Mickey's Not So Scary in the middle of Christmas. But Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Parade, and um, and just looking for Tally now, just to see if he'll make an appearance in there. Um, so there's so much between traditional media content, and new medias that are just coming out that is letting people immerse themselves in Disney holiday, Disney Christmas. Um, that I'm so excited. I love.
Yeah. And
Sorry, I'm probably taking like 96 minutes. What do you love watching? What do you love
no
going?
worries. I was when you were talking, I opened up the Happy Holidays section of Disney Plus, and they list movies, originals. They have a section for Home Alone by itself. Under the Mistletoe, which I think is more
Yeah,
like
there's
the
about
like the
96 Home Alones now, I think.
yeah. Yeah. Um, then some of their originals, I mean, we always watch Home Alone. Um, we have started watching more originals. And one of the first movies that we watch of a holiday season, have you ever seen Noel, the Disney
Yes,
Plus
with
original?
Anna Kendrick. That was
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
great. Yes.
That was actually it was a Disney Plus launch day premiere. It was one
Hmm.
of the shows that was there from the very, very beginning. Um, and it's a really cool story about Noelle being Santa's daughter and how I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like her relationship with her brother who is going to be the next Santa Claus, and then it kind of turns into some mayhem. And for anybody who are fans of Anna Kendrick, it does kind of follow like, a lot of her movies, um, or I should say a lot of her kind of more lighthearted movies. Um, you see she gets into a lot of antics and she kind of has to work through a few things. And that's definitely what happens here. Um, there are, I love um the Christmas Carol with Mickey's Christmas Carol. That's always a fun one to watch. The Santa Claus we'll watch.
Oh,
Santa
yes, the
Claus,
Santa Claus.
and
Yes.
then Santa Claus 2 and Santa Claus 3. 2 years ago, they started the Santa Clauses on Disney Plus, which is a really, really cool show, and there's 2 seasons of it now. Um, so that's
So
really fun to watch.
I watched the first season and I loved it. It was very nostalgic. It felt very much like the original Santa Claus because the original Santa Claus is great. The second one I thought was decent. I wasn't a big fan of the third one. But personal opinion, sorry, listeners and viewers, if you don't agree, um, but I thought the Santa Clauses, that's what it was called, right? The
Yeah.
Santa Clauses. I thought they did fantastic with that. Brought me way back to the original. So I have to watch the second season. I haven't watched that yet. I must admit, I'm way behind on my television. Um, just working on a PhD. That's all.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah, no, I loved the Santa Clauses.
other have you ever seen the Holiday Magic Quest? It was something that the Disney Channel did, and that was on Disney Plus. And it really started during the pandemic. So the first one aired in 2020, it's Christmas time 2020. And it
Oh, was that where
has,
they got all the celebrities together?
yeah, like they had, I think, four Disney Channel um actors, and they would get together, and it was basically like it was a game show around the Magic Kingdom. And so the
Hmm.
first one they did was in the Magic Kingdom. It was really, really cool. Like we like watching that. And then they've also done one the next Christmas. I think they did it in Hollywood Studios. And then over the summer, they did one in Epcot. They haven't done one for Animal Kingdom yet, and it hasn't. I think the Epcot one, I think that was the third one that came out, and that may have been like summer 2022. So I don't, it doesn't seem like, excuse me, it doesn't seem like that's something they're going to keep doing. But it was really, really cool. My kids really, really enjoyed it. That's a fun one to watch. As far as non like what you think of as like traditional Disney, with Star Wars. Have you ever seen the Lego Star Wars holiday special?
I did. I All of those Lego specials I love. I think they're so fun. They do so well at them. The stories are so cheeky but so fun. They are just so lighthearted. You just can't help but watch them, I swear. If you haven't seen them, they're very much like the Lego movie. Like I said, very fun, lighthearted, great story, just kind of make you laugh, feel good. And the holiday Star Wars one was so fun. I loved Han Solo coming in. Um, it was, and now I have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
Um, and didn't they do a series of the Star Wars Legos also?
Yeah, there are several series of Star Wars Legos
Yeah.
that focus like on the Yoda Chronicles, and there's some that focus on the droids, some that focus on the Jedi. That they've done a few of those. Did you ever watch the original Star Wars holiday special?
I have seen it. It is available on YouTube. And that was a intentional pause. It's interesting.
It was
That's
it was an attempt they made.
yes.
It's it's one of the for people who don't know, it is one of the most panned projects it's the most panned Star Wars project for sure. One of the most
We'll
panned
just
projects of
yeah.
most franchises. But think of, I mean, it was, it was made for television. It
Mhm.
was, and it was sort of a variety show, if you will. Like it kind of took that. They had singers, they had dancers, different performers, and then they built this storyline around it. But one thing that panned special has given us. It, I believe, was the first thing to coin Christmas as Life Day in the Star Wars universe, wasn't it?
I do believe you are correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which now people, people will celebrate, big Star Wars fans will celebrate Life Day on Christmas. And that's, something that we did get from that holiday special. Um,
And I will say, I think my favorite part is B. Arthur showing up looking like her character in the Golden Girls, looking like Dorothy, walking right out of the set, I swear, um, into space.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part.
And now a message from Cody's Inner Dialogue. Hey, Inner Dialogue. Yeah, what's up, Cody? I'm trying to promote being a fan of Disney, the book, for Christmas gifts for people. And I wanted to know if you had any ideas. Ideas? Yeah, I got some ideas, but what were you thinking? Well, being a fan of Disney, the book is a really fun read about what Disney means to people. And it's told through stories of my Disney fandom and other people's Disney fandom. And, it's a really good way to let people know what Disney gives all of us and how it can interconnect all of us. It's a really, really fun thing. Who do you think this book would be good for? Everyone. Okay, everyone. Do you think, could you be a little bit more specific about why? Well, I think it would be really good for kids. It makes good stocking stuffers. Point of clarification. What's that? It would make a good present for a kid. Yeah, I'm not sure it would fit into a stocking. What do you mean? Well, like, I'm not sure a book would physically fit into a stocking. I don't know how big people's stockings are. Do you want to sell this book or not? Yeah, I do. I just, I want to be forthcoming with people so they know what they're getting. Well, I mean, come on. Well, how about this idea? Okay, let's hear it. If you're at the dinner table and you've run out of food, and this makes a really, really good gift for everybody. They won't be hungry for hours. What? If they've run out of food? You're not suggesting people eat the book, are you? No, don't be silly. It just makes good conversation for everybody at the party. Get it for everyone in your household. Get it for all of your guests that are coming. You will spend hours and hours talking about Cody's fun and interesting stories about his Disney fandom and other people's Disney fandoms. Oh, that's actually, that's kind of a nice idea, Inner Dialogue. Thank you. I got one more. You want to hear it? Yeah, sure. What do people typically read on Christmas Eve? Well, as a family, a lot of people traditionally will read the night before Christmas. Yeah, let's start a new tradition. What's that? A nice, slow, calm reading of being a fan of Disney the book. I'm not sure about that. Why not? Well, that'd be kind of a long reading. Well, yeah, maybe, but it put people to sleep. I'm not sure that's really what we are going for. That's kind of rude, also, Inner Dialogue. But thanks for the idea, I guess. Being a fan of Disney, the book is available on Amazon, and it's available in paperback, hardback, Kindle, or Audible version for anybody who's interested, and get it for any of your Disney fans on your Christmas list. Thanks a lot, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your holiday season. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Now back to our show. With Marvel, um, have you seen Hawkeye, the Hawkeye series?
I watched it the first time it came out. I haven't watched it since. I should probably rewatch it. But I remember um, kind of the Christmas twist that they put on it.
Yeah. It's it, I haven't watched it this Christmas season yet, but I love watching it. It it's very, very Christmassy. The music in it, very Christmas. It basically the story is he's trying to get back to his family for
Hmm.
Christmas, when everything goes on. So it's really, really cool. There's that. Iron Man 3 people point to as a Christmas movie.
Yes.
And it actually takes place in Tennessee, kind of in a fictional small town in West or East Tennessee. Um, and then have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special?
I love that with Kevin Bacon and um, all the great holiday music. Now, one thing I was very disappointed in, which I thought would have been a fantastic crossover, was they could have used the music in the Guardians Christmas special in Cosmic Rewind,
Yeah.
but they didn't. What they did last year, and it flopped miserably because they're not doing it again this year, is they had Bradley Cooper record a version of Run Run Reindeer, um, but they called it Run Run Rocket. And that's what they used every time on there instead of a mix of how they have a mix of six songs
Hmm.
is how it runs normally. And I'm like, why didn't you just take these songs that you had? I mean, they already paid for them for the movie, for the rights. They could have just used them on the ride. But
Yeah.
hey, Bob Iger needs to call me. I can give him a few ideas.
Alan's
We'll be
full of
good.
ideas.
I
Uh,
am.
uh, the so Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, that's one of the Marvel shows that my kids have watched so far. And they love it. And it's also nice because it's like 40, 45 minutes, so it's
Hmm.
pretty quick. But it's a fun thing to watch at the holidays. So that's on our holiday list as well. Do you watch Nightmare Before Christmas at Halloween and or Christmas season?
So I do, however, and I know this might be a little taboo, I get a little burnt out on it. So I'm usually done with it by like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I do. I watch it since like September.
My oldest son really he liked it. Um but I'm thinking this year during Halloween we may not have watched it. And we haven't watched it so far with Christmas yet. But there's actually a house in the city where we live that's what they decorate as Nightmare Before
Mm,
Christmas with their Christmas decorations. So it's kind of fun to drive around and see that and know the characters from that.
yeah.
One Another thing that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Star Wars is have you watched, as we're talking now, the first two episodes of The Skeleton Crew is out?
I have not seen it, but I've seen that they came out. I do love Jude Law, so I think I'm excited for him to pop in there and see where they go. Um, I wasn't a big fan of Obi-Wan, and I think a lot of it had to do with I just did not personally care for the actress that played young Leia.
Hmm.
Um, I just think they made her too much like a little brat, and so I don't know. It just left an impression in my head. So I think that's why I didn't like it. So um, we'll see with all the kids how they do on Skeleton Crew. Have you watched it
So
yet?
I've seen it. I've seen it twice. I've watched it twice. We're now watching it as a family. We've seen the family has seen the first episode. They haven't seen the second episode yet. And then new episodes come out every Tuesday, so I'll watch the new one when it comes out tomorrow. Um, it's great. It is like, and what's interesting, like I'm sure a lot of people have some hesitancy about a show sort of like focusing on kids. Um,
Hmm.
it has such strong Amblin entertainment vibes that it's so fun. Like if you are a fan of Goonies, which wasn't Amblin Entertainment, but if you're a fan of Goonies, if you're a fan of E.T., if you're a fan of
Hmm.
any of those like movies that were set in the 80s, where kids just like kind of go on this adventure. That's what this is. It's so, so cool. And one of the characters, Neil, is they haven't said what his species yet, but he looks like a young elephant. Like he kind of looks like the oh now I can't remember the guy.
Oh, I've heard this theory. Are
Yeah.
you trying to connect it to Captain EO?
Well, so there's that I wasn't trying to, but since you mention it, what I was trying to say is I can't remember the person's name now, but who he's one of the performers in Jabba's um
Mm-hmm.
palace. Like he is not that species. Star Wars has said he's not that species. But since you mentioned Captain EO, there is, that connection. There's another connection with another creature as well from the small creature that flies around in Captain EO. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a creature that looks very, very, very similar to that is in Skeleton Crew also, in the second episode of Skeleton Crew. Um,
To kind
but
of back up for your fans, if you haven't heard this yet, there's a theory out there connecting Skeleton Crew to Captain EO, which ran in both Disneyland and Epcot, right?
Mhm.
I know it definitely was in Epcot, and I think it was in Disneyland in the 80s. George Lucas produced it, um, starring Michael Jackson. It was a really cool 3D movie that was in the parks, that people are saying now, what, 40 years later, is in theorizing that it's in the Star Wars universe.
And you know what? One thing that the like practical reason behind all of that I learned was speaking to someone from Kate and Kirk from Distery, that they did actually use Captain EO and the ability for George Lucas to make Captain EO. That was used as a way to kind of sweeten the pot for him, um, to put more Star Wars and particularly Star Wars attractions in the parks. So what we see, with Star Tours that's in Disneyland and in Hollywood Studios, when they were first talking about those, it's believed that um, creating Captain EO for Disney was a way to kind of smooth that path toward that. Um, that would be a really interesting theory that if that does come true. Um,
Can I
the
ask you something off topic?
yeah.
Don't kill me. Sorry about this. But I really, really want to know your opinion because I just wrote a strong piece on this the other day. And I think this is where the parks are going to go. My theory, my background's in communication, and we look at communication transitioning and evolving through the years, going from, well, let's go through Spaceship Earth. We think the Phoenicians for our alphabet, and then, it shows us that we get paper and then books and the library, and then we lose the books, and then we get copies, the printing press, and television, movies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the new evolution is going to be AI.
Okay.
And my suggestion in the theme parks and in the rides is going to be a Star Tours model where AI can read not only the guest's magic band, but I implement them some way into the ride, like taking their picture and making them a rebel spy, or integrating them a little bit more into the ride. What's your opinion on this?
I mean I could definitely see that happening.
Sorry,
Um,
I know I'm throwing this at you, curveball.
no worries. I could definitely see that happening, and I know there are things that the company has done to try to make things more personalized. And that's essentially what, your magic bands are, or a way to kind of track where you are. Um, they introduced Magic Band Plus, and when they did, most people, were focused on, oh, they light up and they vibrate and things like that. If you're close to a statue that you should see, or if you're close to an attraction, or you're getting on, the Haunted Mansion, it lights up, it vibrates and it lights up red, things like that. I think really what those are, they're used to track, and they're used to be that next kind of step in this process, um, to make attractions more um, personalized for people. Now, how far that goes, that'll be really interesting to see, because everybody is on the same attraction, but I could see Spaceship Earth, for instance. I could see that because the speakers are in the back, and you're not hearing speakers from other cars. You're not hearing a narration from another car. They could do this in many attractions, like Haunted Mansion included, where your speakers are behind you, and they're for your one car. I could see, AI using your Magic Band to speak in a person's native language. Or
Mm,
even if it's not Magic Band, you have something that you could select the option to hear it in a different language, whatever your native language is, or a language that you want to hear the right narration in. I could see things like that happening. Um, it- the really, really interesting thing to me about AI is as being an education. Um, the ways that it can be used for kind of the public good, and the ways that like it could be used that's not so beneficial. Um, the biggest interest to me is, how does a company like Disney make the ethical decision? How do we use this in an ethical way? How do we use this to make the guest experience better, without getting into kind of the more negative side of what this technology can be used for. Um, so I could see it in the parks. What are your thoughts on it?
well, here's two comments on kind of piggybacking off what you said. Well, first of all, we have seen a little bit of it. I follow on TikTok an influencer that I really like, not name dropping, not anything. You guys make your own opinion. But I like watching the Dapper Danielle. I don't know if you've seen her, but she used to be a cast member, and she puts out a bunch of like Disney knowledge and just tidbits, fun facts. I like Disney trivia, and she puts those out. So that's why I follow her. And one day she made a video from the Emporium, and she's like, look at this shirt. And she was holding up a shirt, and she was describing how you could tell that the shirt was made from AI because it was saying that it was like Epcot or something, but it was showing a ride from Disneyland.
Hmm.
And I'm like, interesting. So they probably just put in create an Epcot of logo, or a logo of Epcot with a rides in it.
Hmm.
And this popped up. And so the way she was describing it, I'm like, oh, wow, they're already using it to implement into their company that we didn't, see or know before. Um, Also, I don't know if you were there at the time, but for a while when you left Haunted Mansion, you know how they put the overlay of the ghost on the
Hmm.
mirror, on the glass
Yeah.
mirror as you leave. There for a while they had a tombstone. Not sorry, not a while. I want to say it was like a few months, and the tombstone would have your name based on your magic band,
Oh, okay.
and people didn't like that.
Yeah.
The death scene.
Yeah, that's
um,
more creepy than fun.
yeah, so they cut that very quickly. But for a while they were doing that, and for a while, It's a Small World also was saying goodbye to people based on their magic band.
Okay.
Now, I just went on that recently on my last trip, and the TV screens that they had in the end in the last room are gone. So it doesn't do that anymore. But for a while, they were testing that out. So I could definitely see it
Yeah.
coming in into the parks and um, hopefully make our lives easier. We were talking earlier about technology in the parks and how the app needs to be updated for some things. And AI integration, I think it would help, like replacing the Genie Plus and or My Genie Day or whatever they had. Um, it could help there, I feel. So we'll see. I mean, real interesting. Sorry to go off topic.
No, no worries. Well, at the least, I could see, with I understand why Genie is why it was called Genie Plus and why there is still like My Genie is the like kind of the free planning service. But I could see, based on your interests. I mean, if I open up the app and based on my interest, like I answer a questionnaire or whatever, and all of a sudden, instead of Genie telling me what I should be doing, it's Figment telling me what I should be doing. Like I could see things like that, how cool that would be. Like, and at the end of rides, people telling you by or if you're when you're standing in queues, they already have so many interactive elements. Like having an interactive element based on your interest, where either a character from the ride you are waiting for is talking to you, or again, like a favorite character you have,
Mhm.
they have we we talked about Premier Access, where people can purchase the Premier Access and they have basically a fast pass lane to every ride one time in the park. And it's very, very expensive for most people to do. But I could also see, having a version of a walking tour where you have a narration from your app and your favorite character or a an Imagineer talking to you about different things, and you have all these different options. And I mean, AI would be involved in that. One thing, did you when you were a kid, or actually the attraction's still open there, have you ever ridden the ET experience at
When you were talking
Universal?
about that, I did not want to bring that up because, we don't talk about it's like Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Universal. However, since we're there, shh, don't tell anybody, fans. Um, there's such a nostalgia with
Yeah,
ET and writing it and that smell and the listening for your name at the
yeah,
end and all of that. And you're right. I grew up in the same era that you were describing, watching the kids in ET, try to save him. And we talked about Home Alone and the John Hughes movies. And the Brat Pack was a little older than I am, but I still love watching all of those and everything. But yeah, no, I love the ET ride. Um, and I will be sad if they take it down.
yeah. Well, and that, like that was the first experience I ever had of like, ET says your name at the end. And how
Mm-hmm.
cool that was. And then and it was also one of my first experiences in kind of realizing this interest of mine of trying to figure out how things work. Because I
Mm.
remember after writing that and then talking to my mom about like how, where did they get our names? What did they do? And it's been so long ago, I can't remember. You did something at the beginning of the ride where
Yeah, so
you
you tell the operator your name and
yeah,
they put it on a card, like
yeah,
it looks like a credit card or like that.
yeah. And so, that technology, it's already been used a few times in the parks. It'll be used again to do things like that. It's just that extra kind of touch of magic, if you will. And at the end of an attraction, yeah, if you have your favorite character say your name, like that's really, really cool. Or,
Hmm.
because there could be such a thing. If you're a kid, you probably love that on every attraction. If you
Hmm.
are not of a certain age, maybe you find it a little overbearing if every attraction you go on, like Peter Pan thanks you by name, and then you go on um Little Mermaid's journey and she thanks you by your like when every
Yeah.
attraction's doing it. However, talking about AI, that could also be something that like you put in a preference like, hey, what characters do you like? Because you already answer those characters or you already answer some of
Hmm.
those questions when you're planning in the app. So, for the two or three characters that you identify, maybe they talk to you. Whereas it could be different for someone else, whatever attraction they like being on. The reason I brought up Skeleton Crew originally is in the first episode of Skeleton Crew, Neil's little siblings, younger siblings, they are watching the Star Wars holiday special on the
Really?
hologram. Yeah, they're watching it on their table. Um, so anything else from Disney movies?
Oh my gosh, there's so many that I love. So many more that we didn't talk about that are just out there. Even like the TV specials, you get like Prep and Landing. Those are
Yeah.
fun. Um, the shorts, there's so much more that we could talk. We could do a whole show just on the shows and the movies.
The
Um, so
well,
there's just
like
so much out there.
there's also last year they came out with the Naughty Nine, which is a Disney Plus original.
Hmm.
Godmother came out a few years ago. That's a Disney Plus original. Um, what's your impression of Disney's A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey? Do you remember that one?
I do. That one was good. That one they kind of he looked really old. Okay, now I remember that one. Yeah, no, they did a great makeup job. I thought that was fun. That's a good one to watch.
It's it it's sort of that like mole capture, isn't it? Where they're
Hmm.
trying to like the faces are supposed to look more realistic and there was like they do it in Mars Needs Moms. They do it in the Polar Express. Like kind of that type of animation. Um, and interestingly, those like the Polar Express, when I watch the Polar Express, it always bothers me like how realistic slash unrealistic it looks.
Hmm.
And I learned, excuse me, excuse me, I learned a week and a half ago, there's actually like a phenomenon to describe that, the uncanny valley, where
Really?
things are like they're trying to make look realistic and don't look realistic enough. And that can kind of flip a person's psychology off to where they like have negative associations with a program like that. So that's always kind of an interesting one to me. They also did a Home Alone for Disney Plus. Um, it was like they did a Disney
It
Plus
was
original.
it was
Um,
last year, wasn't it?
yeah, and I'm trying to find what it's called, Home Sweet Home Alone,
Yes, that
where
was what it
it
was.
has it has a little bit different of an ending, um, but it's another one that my kids really like watching as well. Um, Dashing Through the Snow was a Disney Plus original with Ludacris in it.
I
And
don't think I saw
so,
that one.
yeah, I mean, with Disney Plus, I think a lot of the things that they would have created for Disney Channel and or smaller theatrical releases, like it kind of, especially the first few years of Disney Plus, it was just
Hmm.
kind of this opportunity to put things on the streaming service to make things more entertaining. And really what it's done is it's added to people's holiday experiences. So next, Christmas in the parks.
Mm.
How many times have you been to Disneyland, Walt Disney World, any of the parks during what's considered Christmas season, which is from November 1st through early January?
At least 10, probably closer to 15 times. Full disclosure, I've never been to Disneyland at any of their holiday times. I've only been during summer.
Okay.
I would love to because I want to see the overlay on the Haunted Mansion. I want to see their Christmas stuff. I want to see Oogie Boogie's Bash and Halloween. I just haven't had a chance to go out west during the holiday season yet. Um, it's also a little easier to get to Florida from, well,
Yeah.
now from Tennessee, but also from Chicago. A 2 hour flight versus a 4.5 hour flight is
Yeah.
sounds better to me. But I will say, the holidays around the park are phenomenal. One of my first and favorite things I will say is um, the holiday processional that they do every year.
Hmm.
I've seen a few of them. Last year, I was lucky enough to be there while Josh Gad was there. He
Mm.
was hilarious. First of all, close your eyes and you just hear Olaf, which was fun. And then just to hear him listen to his passion for Disney and his love that he shares while he's telling the story of Christmas is really fun. Um, who else have we seen? Neil Patrick Harris, Gary Sinise. I've seen it quite a few times, and it's always nice, always fun. I would love to see the Disneyland one because Disneyland. Walt started the tradition of the candlelight processional, which is nice. I'd love to see that. And they just announced that Catherine Hahn was going to be the
Hmm.
announcer or the storyteller in Disneyland, and we all love her, obviously, for being in WandaVision and Agatha all along. So the candlelight Christmas processional, fun. First of all, fun. Um, if we stay in Epcot, there's the cookie stroll, because I like to eat. Period. That's one of my favorite things to do in Disney is eat. So why not do a good cookie stroll and just eat cookies around the world? It's fantastic. Um, but I it's another way to hide in that edutainment aspect, believe it or not, because you are now teaching people about different cuisines and traditions from around the world, which I do love in when Epcot does the Festival of the Holidays. Um, First of all, I did not, grow up Jewish or anything like that, so I'd never had a black and white cookie before until I had gone to Festival of the Holidays, and that is one of my favorite cookies that I get every year now. Um, because I learned that at the Festival of the Holidays. Also they have different cultures from around the world that they show, and have shows of in Festival of the Holidays. You get to learn about German Christmas and um, I can't think of the other. Father Christmas is there in England, and there's a few other stories set up around the park where you can learn about the way other countries and other cultures celebrate Christmas, which brings you back to that edutainment aspect that we love. So Epcot is not only one of my favorite places and parks, but during the holidays, it's even better. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you ever been there?
I've been to Walt Disney World 3 times during Christmas season. One time when I was a kid, probably I think I was 9 turning 10 maybe. the family, the extended family went, and we went on Christmas week. Now that was it was crowded. We weren't there on
Yeah.
Christmas Day. I think we were driving back. Maybe we left Christmas Eve to drive back. So we actually celebrated Christmas in our hotel on the way back. But it was me and I grew up with five cousins. There were six of us, three families, that we all took a family trip. I remember it being really, really crowded. It also was not what it is now, where it's just, reaching park capacity. And if you don't have Lightning Lane, if you don't have the premier access, like you're done. You're not gonna if you're not staying, excuse me, if you're not staying on property, you're not getting into the parks. Um, so more recently, in 2021, and then this year, I went like third week of November. So it was during Christmas season. I've never been to any of the parades, and I've never been the when I've never been to Festival of the Holidays at Epcot. I would really like to go. It
Hmm.
just usually doesn't end up working out like when I'm there to actually see that. I'll be at the end of Food and Wine Festival, which is not a bad thing either anyway, but I'll be at the end of that, and then it's like the next week that I'm not going to be there is when they start Festival of the Holidays. So I've been three times, but it's really, really fun to see the Christmas trees um, in
Hmm.
the parks, the Christmas trees at the different hotels. I remember the first time we went as a kid, we stayed at the Polynesian. I remember them having a very, very cool Christmas tree and Christmas decorations. These last two times I've gone in 2021, it was at Art of Animation. This time it was at Pop Century. So I got to see their Christmas decorations. They were pretty neat. Um, what was really fun this last trip is I just took the Skyliner around and like I got off on the Riviera. So I walked around the Riviera a little bit and you could see their Christmas decorations. When I left Epcot, when I took the Skyliner over to Epcot, instead of going into Epcot, I walked around like to Boardwalk and Beach and
Hmm.
Yacht and looking at some of those decorations. That was really, really fun. I don't think I've ever been in the Animal Kingdom Lodge or Wilderness Lodge. Um, and I know they have some very, very immaculate Christmas decorations. One of my favorite things, though, is going into Hollywood Studios and seeing
Hmm.
the old, like, 1950s, 1960s style Christmas, or it's older than that, Christmas decorations that, like, they'll have like all of the what are they called? Snow blown or plastic blown, all the like the
Yes.
plastic figures everywhere that they're making
Yes.
a
Yes.
comeback now.
They
Um,
really are. Yes.
and that's really, really cool to see. And even though I've never been to any of the parades, just being in Magic Kingdom and seeing it decorated for Christmas is amazing. And
It
also
is.
for people who maybe haven't been or have been and you're looking for um, kind of good times to go, um, if you go to Magic Kingdom on a parade day or on a special event day, and you're not going to the special event, it's the crowds are a lot lower that day. If you have a park hopper and you could start in Magic Kingdom and go until that, crowds start coming in for the Christmas parades and everything, and then you go to another park, that's a really, really good day. You could do a lot of things in the Magic Kingdom. I imagine it would be something similar with Hollywood Studios now that they have Jollywood nights, but I'm not certain of that.
See, now I went to Jollywood Nights the very, 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 very first night.
Okay.
And I was one of those people that did not have the good experience there. I hear that they've changed a lot and it's great now. So I would be excited to go back and test it again. But I was one of the people that waited like 2 hours for food because the
Yeah.
lines weren't
Yeah.
moving and had those problems the very first night. Um, However, like you said, it was beautiful. I love the way they really decorated it up with the classic looking decorations. They had a show featuring the Muppets over in the Beauty and the Beast theater. That is beautiful. The decorations and costumes and everything, it was great. The singing was fantastic. So I would be excited to go back to Jollywood Nights again. I've done Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party a couple times, I think twice. It's not my favorite. I do like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party better.
Hmm.
I've done Not So Scary like 4 or 5 times. Um, but the holiday party or the Christmas party is still a lot of fun. Um,
Question.
I, yeah,
Now, we talked about it earlier and we talked about it before we started recording. The inclusion and popularity of Tally the Elf.
mhm.
Does that change your perspective on the Christmas party versus the Halloween party?
I think that would be fun to go see him and find him in the parade, which he's so fun. He's blowing up on social media right now. You know, if you haven't seen Tally the Elf yet, he's in the parade route and he walks around to people, kind of like right behind Cody. There's a
Yeah.
beautiful crowd of people, and he'll pick somebody at random and be like, "All right, what's your name? What's your name? I'll check to see if you're on the naughty or the nice list." He's tallying the list. Get it? um, and so we'd be like, "Oh, my name's Cody." No, 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 not on the nice list. Oh, you're on the naughty list, and start razzing you and go through. And so he's hilarious, fantastic, energized cast member. I would love to go see him. Sadly, the rest of the 2024 parties are sold out,
Yeah.
but there's always next year.
Yeah. And with I saw someone post uh wanting a Tally the Elf special for next Christmas. Which how fun would that be if you actually had a Tally the Elf special that was on Disney Plus? I mean, it's basically at that point, however long the special is, it's an advertisement for the Christmas party at the parks, which I know they never have trouble filling. Um, and what they offered isn't the Christmas party, isn't it 2 nights a week at least?
I do believe so. Two or three, yeah.
Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then there might be one of the weekends that they do closer to Christmas. That it is, you know, it's really, really funny to see. And it's hard to tell who is in the video that he's talking to. It seems, I imagine, if he sees an adult, at least 95% of the time they're on the naughty list. I would imagine when he sees a kid, all those videos we're seeing where he says they're on the nice list, I imagine most, if not all of those are kids that he's talking to. Because I mean, talk about a talk about a bad experience, from a kid's perspective. If you're told you're on the naughty list, that that can ruin a vacation for sure.
You
Um,
know, I'm sure he would tell me I'm on the nice list, so it's fine.
um,
Also, they filmed the Christmas parade, which is shown on Christmas Day, and then they had the one last weekend, the holiday special that they aired on ABC. Was that last weekend or is that this weekend? I
I think it
forget.
was last weekend, or
So it should
maybe Thanksgiving weekend.
so it should be on Hulu or Disney Plus by
Yeah,
now. Um, and for those of you who haven't been in the parks at that time, but it films usually the first 2 weeks of November.
yeah,
It takes a lot of performing to and filming to make these hour-long specials. They film in the parks for about a week, so you could get Tally to do appearances in these shows and in the parade, and edit be able to edit him in there, and there you go. Do a little plug and promotion for the Tally special. And again, see, Disney should just hire us. Bob,
Y-
call me.
another thing that Disney could do, and I could see this happening, is this is Disney's version of Elf on the Shelf. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this would be something that um I could see the popularity of this. And maybe this is just, maybe this will just be popular for, obviously it's Christmas season right now. But I guess we'll see how much the popularity stays up after the parades are over, and if they could get the person playing Tal the Elf to do other things in high, like kind of those parades and high profile situations to build up that person's notoriety and visibility, maybe something will come of it. And now a message from Cody's Inner Dialogue. Hey, Cody. Yeah, what's up, Inner Dialogue? I heard you got to be on Entertainment Education, the podcast. Yeah, I did. I actually got to be on there twice. How cool is that? Well, I mean, it's cool for you. Not so sure it's as cool for Alan, but what? Stop being rude. You have to stop being rude to me. You stop being rude to me. No, you're the one that's rude to me. No, I'm not rude to you. You're rude to me all the time. You always cut me off. You don't use my ideas. What? Stop it. What are you doing here? I wanted to help promote the show. Oh, promote the show. Okay. What's your idea? Okay, listen up. In a world of entertainment and education, Alan brings you Entertainment Education, the podcast. Are you trying to do like a movie preview voiceover? Yeah, what'd you think? It's not very good. What? That was really good. No, I mean it's not very original. See, there you go again. Being mean, not using my ideas, putting my ideas down. You are the one who always puts my ideas down. No, I don't. Anyway, get back to it. Alan has done a fantastic job. You know what? He should go for a season 2. Yeah, I agree, but I mean, he's really busy, you know? Yeah, well, if you can do this for 4 years, he definitely should be doing a season 2. I mean, his stuff's really, really good. Yeah, I agree, but again, man, why do you feel the need to be so rude to me all the time? Well, maybe you should ask yourself that question. I mean, I'm you, you're me. Yeah, whatever. Alan, I'm really sorry about this. I had a really, really good time on the show. We had a good time. What? We had a good time. Oh, whatever. I had a really good time on the show. Thanks for having me twice. And I'm really, really sorry about this. I was just trying to help. Yeah, I know you were. Season 2. Stop, okay? Sorry, Alan. So the last thing we were going to talk about, um, outside of the parks, outside of the movies, celebrating Disney Christmas every day. What are some of the ways that you like celebrating Disney Christmas when you are away from a Disney park, when you are not watching a Disney movie, just in every day?
Well, I will start first of all with my tradition on Christmas Day. So Christmas Day, wake up and I make Mickey waffles because I
Okay.
have a Mickey waffle maker at home because every food tastes better when it's Mickey shaped, right? That's scientifically proven, I believe.
Yep.
Um, so I make the Mickey waffles and I watch the Christmas parade on ABC. So that is my yearly tradition every Christmas. We're going home from Nashville, our home in Nashville to our home in Chicago. So going to see my family during Christmas. So I will be crashing my grandmother's house that morning and making waffles in her kitchen, and we'll be watching the parade together. So that'll be nice. So that is my yearly, every day on Christmas tradition. But I am a November 1st decorator.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, so some people are either Thanksgiving decorators or November 1st decorators, and I am a November 1st. There was one year that I was an October 31st at like 9 o'clock at night. I started,
Mm, okay.
but that's because I was a little nuts, but that's okay. Uh, so I love Christmas, so I will start bringing out the holiday wardrobe, my onesies, my spirit jerseys, you name it. I bought it. I just got the Figment holiday sweater that he
Oh yeah.
wears in the ride, and they just sold in the park. So it is on its way. I just ordered that. Don't tell Marcos; they kill me that I'm spending money. Um, so it's definitely there, and then Christmas decor everywhere. What's my favorite Christmas decoration that I have? I've got some great buckets, some great Christmas buckets, popcorn buckets that are love that. I just got somebody got me the gingerbread house that is being sold at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I
Okay.
don't know if you've seen it yet. So that popcorn bucket is coming. Um, and then I've got pillows and ornaments and you name it, it's probably around the house of Christmas decorations. I have a countdown to Christmas. So I love decorating around the house with Christmas. Since we're in an apartment now. I had a house in Chicago, so the outside stuff we kind of tabled for now, obviously, because I can't decorate a third floor window
Yeah.
with blow up ornaments or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I had all kinds of Christmas decorations at home. Um, I love, like I was mentioning, just spending time with my family on the holidays. That's great. So I send Christmas cards, and that's a way to keep in touch with everybody and bring the family a little closer. And those are always, always, always Mickey or Disney themed. I typically, when I go in October for my birthday trip, and I'll go for Halloween, I'll pick up. They usually start selling the packs of Christmas cards then,
Okay.
so I'll pick up a box then to bring home, and I'll mail those out around Thanksgiving. So those I wait till Thanksgiving to send out, but everything else, November 1st, starts to come out around the house. Even the Christmas music.
Yes.
I One of my favorite Christmas jams is "Christmas is Starting Now" from the Phineas and Ferb Christmas special. If you want to go back, that one's going back to like late '90s, early 2000s. The Phineas and Ferb Christmas
Okay.
special with "Christmas is Starting Now" by the Big Bad Voodoo Daddies. That gets me going and gets me decorating for Christmas. Um, but they have the Disney itself on Apple Music has some great Christmas
Hmm.
playlists that I will throw on in the background. Or what I will do is I'll go to YouTube and just put in like Magic Kingdom Christmas loop,
Yeah.
and it will play like 6 hours of the entrance loop of Magic Kingdom during Christmas time or anything like that. Not Jollywood, the Hollywood Studios loop is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I'll put those on while I'm grading or writing in the background. So those are a lot of traditions. What is the House of Havard like to do?
So we also start November 1st. I listen to a Disney playlist on Apple. I have the Guardians of the Galaxy playlist that my kids really, really like. They love the song about where the aliens are singing about Christmas and all the like how strange Christmas is. Um,
Hmm.
but and then the old 97s who they're the band in that.
Yeah.
They're from the Central Texas area, which that's where I lived for 8 or 9 years. And so it's really, really cool. Like we like listening to that song. We like listening to other Disney Christmas songs. Outside, we do a lot of decorations, Disney decorations. I have one thing that my wife bought a few years ago. She bought me for Christmas that says joy, and the O in it is like the Mickey ears that you
Hmm.
set out in your yard. We have a couple projectors that one is like a projector of, on your house that would have wreaths and the Mickey silhouette, the Mickey head or the Mickey ears um dancing around, and another one is Mickey Mouse theme saying like happy holidays. Probably the biggest thing is in the next, and I haven't done it this year, in the next few days, the office that I'm sitting in will be converted into our Disney Christmas tree. I
Hmm.
think I can't remember exactly the year I started it, if it was 2018 or before that. But 2016 is when my wife bought the first Disney monorail set for me.
Hmm.
And so each Christmas, I try to get something new, Disney related. And so I'll share it out on YouTube when I get it done this year. I'll share out some of the older videos, so they're available on YouTube now. Um, we usually like I'll do a Christmas tree that's surrounded by a monorail, and I over the years I've added different things to it, like characters that are in it. I have Indiana Jones hanging from the Skyliner route that goes from the Christmas tree, or the it goes from a part of our room to the to Cinderella Castle. And then most recently, well, a few years ago after our 2021 trip or 2019 trip, I added a replica of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, because the
Hmm.
boys really like that. This past year, the thing I added was Avengers Campus, since that was the first year we went to Disneyland. And so that'll be up in a few days. I don't really know what I'll do for office space at that point. I'll have to move into a different room because it takes up pretty much the whole room. But that's probably the biggest thing we do to celebrate
Look, you give up a
Christmas.
little
And
space, you get some Christmas joy. It's fine.
And actually, you mentioned the YouTube loop. When I make the videos of that, I'm using the a YouTube video, Christmas on Main Street, USA,
Hmm.
Um, so anything else before we get to our rapid questions? Anything else you
Oh,
do
rapid
to
questions. You make
celebrate
me nervous
Disney
with those.
outside of the parks?
Every day is Disney celebration in my life. Um, I try to do as much as we can, you know, inside, outside, try to make everything Disney-fied that I can. But it's also just the favorite times. Like the what I heard when you were describing that was the great times that you're spending with your kids, getting these rooms ready together, and remembering your time at Avengers Campus together, and the nostalgia. And I love that's what these things do.
Hmm.
um, my mom and I still laugh. We went for a quick weekend trip one year, for the holidays, and I got to show her some of my favorite Christmas things to do at the parks. And one of my favorite things to do, and I know this is cheesy, but and I know you can do this all year round, but I especially love it during the holidays, is to get the Thanksgiving sandwich from Earl Sandwich.
Mm.
And I grabbed one, and we went to the airport, and we were going, and she grabbed a different sandwich. She grabbed something else, and she thought she lost hers. And I was like, well, I guess you can have mine, half of mine if you really want. And turns out she found her sandwich. She had just put it in a different bag than her purse. She thought she put it in her purse, but it's even just, we laugh about that moment, like, oh, you remember when you lost your sandwich for the holidays?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I think it's for me personally, it's the memories that Disney creates for my family. And, my niece is two. She's almost at that perfect age to start taking to the parks with me. Um, so the memories I'll be able to create with her, showing her the holidays and Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. The oh, and this year was the first time I've been on the Jingle Cruise also, which was really fun.
Mm,
Um
it is
that's a
some
really cool experience.
bad Christmas puns. How can you not love it?
Yeah. And I love it. It's also so heartwarming the story that, the for people who don't know, the Jungle Cruise, the world famous Jungle Cruise for in November is turned into Jingle Cruise. So they put up Christmas decorations, and the whole story, this is so heartwarming. The whole story is because the Jungle Cruise is, located not in Walt Disney World or Disneyland. It's located just kind of off in the jungle. The cat the cruise operators can't go. They can't get home for Christmas, so they have to find ways to celebrate Christmas wherever they are. And so obviously they have like when I went, there's they don't have snow. They had a snowman made of like the bags of seed or whatever that they have, like it's all these kind of real cool you can tell just kind of things that they've been able to throw together to try to bring the Christmas spirit to them. That's really, really fun.
I love
So
that.
are you ready for rapid questions? And this is Christmas style.
I don't know. You make me nervous with these. I never know what to answer. I don't know what the right answer is.
There's no right or wrong answer unless I
Okay.
disagree.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
all right, are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me.
All right. First one. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I'm going to say yes.
I would say yes as well. I mean, they have an advent calendar with
I know.
of an Advent Die or a Die Hard advent calendar. So, um,
Maybe we will get some answers one of these years. I don't know if you've seen recently on social media within the past few weeks, Disney Parks, the official Disney Parks account put out that you're supposed to start in Canada.
mm,
They made it official that for those that drink around the world, go to Canada first. You
really?
know, there's the Canada people and there's the Mexico people. I'm usually the Mexico side. So maybe the Disney parks or the Disney official Disney social medias will put out soon if Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, they did make their argument a few years ago when it was on international to Star. It wasn't for Hulu, but they had a commercial with somebody singing about how Die Hard is a Christmas movie to when they during Christmas season. So, all right, we've talked about things that you like doing at the parks.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite Christmas thing to do at a Disney park?
Eat.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? I will say that the Disney Christmas snacks are on point. Anything peppermint, I will eat it. Um, and like they during the Christmas and Halloween parties, I will say that is their food is fantastic.
Yeah.
The specific only holiday stuff. So yes, I'm gonna go with eat is my favorite activity.
One of my favorite things at Disney Springs is to go to I love going to Goofy's Candy Company. That's
Mm-hmm.
been there since my childhood. I love going to that particular store. I will go there to get things rather than anywhere else to get the same candy. I will make an effort to go to there because of nostalgia. But especially around like the Christmas time, I enjoy getting the the dipped Rice Krispies that are
Mm-hmm.
decorated for Christmas. I like
That
doing
look like
Christmas time.
Santa Claus colors and yep,
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
great. Mhm.
We talked about movies. Do you have a favorite Disney Christmas movie?
Ooh, a favorite Disney Christmas movie. I'm gonna go. Ooh, this is tough, but I'm gonna go the Santa Claus, the original.
Okay. All right. And I think you may have already answered this one. But favorite Disney Christmas tradition.
Probably watching the parade with my family. So it's a little bit of the parks at home with my family. It's a little bit of everything kind of smushed together. So watching the Disney parade at home on Christmas Day.
Okay. And then this just overall, this can be Disney related, doesn't have to be Disney related. But what's your favorite Disney tradition? I'm sorry, what's your favorite Christmas tradition?
Um, Favorite Christmas tradition that we do. So what do we do? That's different. I don't know. It's different. Every year, just probably spending time with each other, and I do buy my grandmother a um, what is that, Chris? The crystal store, the Arribas Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
Um, I buy her a Christmas crystal every year. And she always says that when she dies, the collection goes back to me. So I will be getting all these crystal Mickey figures back and everything. But that's probably one tradition is I give my grandmother a crystal every year.
Okay. Cool. Well, very, very cool. Well, that's it. Those were easy. See? Those are easy rapid questions.
I
Um,
made it.
what for people who want to, where can they best reach you?
Probably socials, entertainment, education, the podcast, which we talked about the first time I was
Hmm.
here, and how Disney and entertainment education kind of go together and hand in hand.
Inner
We're
dialogue,
working.
inner
Yes.
dialogue still reminds me how much better that was than this show. So I
No, no,
appreciate that.
not better. It not better. Uses your show as inspiration. How about
Oh,
that? But no, we are maybe looking at. I was just talking to my producer last week, and I think we might be planning a second run for summer.
all right.
So look out for entertainment education, the podcast, and that. Not gonna lie, had a lot to do with your suggestions. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, well, as I said, that's it. Thanks for coming back. Um, we will come back and talk about other things and other holiday seasons as well. But thanks a lot for doing this, Alan.
Oh,
Really,
thanks
really
for having me
appreciate it.
back. I love being back in your classroom. It's a great time, and I look forward to the day I get my virtual 5 time jacket. I'm ready.
Exactly. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.